Hello, thank you for joining me. I have a very special guest with me today, Health Coach Aimee. And Aimee, I meant to ask you before we got started how to pronounce your last name. How do you pronounce your
Oh,
last
that's
name?
okay. Ibarra.
Ibarra, Aimee Ibarra.
Yes.
So before we get started with Aimee, I just want to remind you, if you're popping on to watch this video, this page is where we create all things, all videos geared toward women's empowerment. So I really hope you enjoy this series of videos and other videos that we post. You can find us here on Facebook. Please like our page and follow it. And then you can also find us on YouTube. If you're a fan of YouTube, please subscribe and ding the bell. So I am so happy to introduce Aimee. She works in the health industry as a health coach. So Aimee, what would you like to share about what
Mhm.
you do today?
All right. Well, thank you. I'm excited to be here. I'll just give you a real quick snippet about me and how I ended up where I'm at today.
Great.
I went on a weight loss journey and lost 87 pounds back in 2018. And I set out really to just lose weight. And what happened was I experienced a total mind-body transformation. I went from a very unhappy, unsatisfied, unfulfilled woman to a woman who had really taken back her power and rediscovered her voice. And here I am today now sharing my story with women and empowering them with the tools and skills and abilities that I discovered so that they can have their own transformation through health and fitness.
You know, I love how you word that, and that's what really wanted me to have you on, because the way you talk about your journey, the way you talk about the journey for other women, it's really about empowering them to use their voice in the end for you as you're working with them through the umbrella of fitness and health.
Absolutely. Well, and it makes sense, for at least for me, it makes sense that as a woman who's trying to rediscover herself and find her voice again, to do it through health and fitness, because that's one thing that we can choose to do. We can choose the things that we put into our mouth, and we can choose the way we're going to move our bodies. And so once we've had an experience feeling that sense of power and excitement by choosing to do things that are loving and good for us, then we can branch out into other aspects of our life doing the same thing.
Wow. You and I were talking a little bit off camera, and it's a little bit off topic to what we have in this series right now, but kind of not. And so I really want to make sure we get
Mm-hmm.
that conversation in there, which was we talked
Okay.
about when you're going through this journey of health, you're kind of aiming for something that somebody else has. Do you want to speak on that a little
Mm.
bit?
Sure. So, what I discovered and I found to be true is the diet and the fitness industry, they've really convinced us that in order to be healthy, we're supposed to look a certain way. So, do this diet or do this exercise program so you can look this way, and that's going to equate to health. And that's just simply not. There are plenty of people walking around that look. Maybe they've got the six pack and the well defined arms and the tight butt and whatnot, but are they truly healthy? And some of them may be, but that does not determine whether you are healthy or not. There's lots of other, what's your endurance level? What's your stress level? How are you sleeping? How meaningful are your relationships in your life? How much joy do you experience on a regular basis? Those kinds of things. Um, Also should be included in the mix when we're talking about real health and fitness.
Real health and fitness. And mindset,
Mm-hmm.
which is kind of the area that I work in
Absolutely.
most, is how we feel about those things.
Mm-hmm.
So on
Absolutely.
that note, I want to ask you, what do you view, or how would you describe a limitless woman? What does that look like to you?
You know what? A limitless woman. I was thinking about this on my run this morning. What has held me back in the past and what has changed in my life? And you just really hit it on the nail. I think it's about mindset. A lot of times I know for me and a lot of the women that I coach and people that I come across, we think that we're limited by external factors in our life. oh, if only I had the money to do this, or oh, if only I had the time to do this, or oh, if only, whatever. We look at all these external factors and we allow them to make us feel limited by our options. But it's not those external factors. It's the beliefs that we have about those external factors that actually really do limit us. So when we can step back, we can understand that to tap into the limitless power that we have means tapping into our inner voice and our inner thoughts, and really getting clear on that, and understanding that we get to be the boss of our thoughts and we get to be the boss of our emotions. And it's not all these things outside of us that are holding us back. It's us. It's us that's holding us back. And when we can change that, then limitless opportunities just open up to us.
Amen. Amen. Oh my gosh. You just said that so beautifully. The internal voice, that internal dialogue. And I think there was a time where I really didn't even realize that that's what was going on. I didn't
Oh,
think that my
yes.
thoughts were things I was telling myself.
Mm-hmm. Well, I didn't know that I was the boss of my thoughts. I didn't know that I got to choose the thoughts that I was going to think and not think. I thought that I was, I just, oh, shoot. Did I just lose you?
Oh, oh, there
Sorry
you are.
about that. Um, sorry, I'm back. Just thought that thoughts that came into my mind, those were the thoughts there, and that defined my reality. So when I learned that I got to be the boss of my thoughts, and I could kick out whatever beliefs weren't serving me, and I could switch them with thoughts and beliefs that would serve me, it was like, wow,
Yes.
imagine that.
Yes. Kick it out. Like you're the health fitness coach,
Yes,
so you're like, bam. Yeah, I
uh-huh.
love it.
That's right. Uh-huh.
I love it. So, what was a big influence for you, or was it really this internal dialogue that you started working on, or did you have, um, I don't know, I'm geared toward women and females. So, did you have a female woman or mentor that you looked up to?
I did, and I do. I've had a few. I have a sister who's always been a role model to me in this area, not just in health and fitness, but definitely living a life of meaning and fulfillment and purpose on her terms. And, that meant that she was very involved in her community and giving back, and a wonderful mother and well educated, and wrote a book and started a dance company, and just really has lived life fully and on her terms. She's been a wonderful role model, but also there have been women. My first mentor and coach back in 2015. I remember the first time I sat down with her, and she was like, what dreams do you have? Like, what do you? And I'm like, dreams. What are you talking about? Dreams.
Right.
Like it was like a deer in the headlight, because I had not thought about or dreamed in so many years. The only thing I could really hope for was that my children would grow up to be happy, fulfilled people. Like literally, that's all I could say in that moment. And that was back in 2015. And that's when I really began my personal development journey. She introduced me, that mentor of mine introduced me to her mentor, and she then became a mentor of mine. And she's also a woman, very successful business, family, personal life. And so definitely I've been able to glean from her as well.
Yeah, it's amazing. It's amazing to think about the women that have had the impact on us in that way. Because sometimes, and I had myself in a position where I recently thought about this. Actually, what am I saying? It was Mother's Day, where I'm
Mm.
wanting to do my post about my mom and my stepmom and the beauty that they brought to my life, and having an opportunity to reflect back on how they impacted us as women and our choices as women today is so fulfilling
Mm-hmm.
for you know. And I'm blessed that I get to share that
And
with both of them.
absolutely. And I would actually add to that, my mom, bless her heart, did the best that she could. And so this is in no way meant to be critical of her, but it was also an example to me, because she did not live life on her terms. Continues to walk through life feeling limited by her surroundings, and has struggled and suffered, and has had many challenges because of that. And so again, she also has been an example to me, but an example of, things that I don't want to repeat in my life. And so I am grateful for that as well.
Yeah. So, and here's the beauty of like what we do as coaches is that we're able to recognize those things that they did the best we could, we're doing the best we can, and
Mm-hmm.
hopefully I'm not going to hear a story later in life that I did something that impacted my children in a negative way, because I know that I'm doing the best that I can right now. And I know you must feel the
Mm-hmm.
same way with your children.
I do, and I am doing my best. And I do also recognize that. And I tell my children often that I am not perfect. A lot of the things that I talk about publicly and in coaching sessions, these are things that I'm actively working on myself. And I certainly, none of us ever arrive. We're always a work in progress. We're always evolving and becoming. And what I hope that I can demonstrate is the power in forgiveness. I have worked a long time on forgiving myself and letting go of the shame that has held me back in my own life. And then, obviously learning to forgive others. And hopefully my children will see that example. And for whatever things that I have inadvertently done that have caused pain or hurt in their life, that they too will become people who can forgive and understand, that that's part of the process, that we're all just kind of loving each other the best we can. And when we let each other down, we forgive and move on.
Yes. Perfect discussion right now, especially right around Mother's Day. And this
Mm-hmm.
video is going to come up later, but that's when we're recording it. And it's so relevant to right now, to all the feelings that come up right now with that. And I'm the same as you, having that talk about transparency and forgiveness. And they're good conversations to have that I think that maybe our parents maybe used to kind of shove those conversations down. They didn't need to be had for some
Mm-hmm.
reason. So,
Mm-hmm. I don't think it was on their radar.
oh,
Emotional
good point.
intelligence was not a thing. They were just trying to, when you think about what environment they were coming out of and what generation and what was happening, they were just, trying to together. And there weren't a lot of options for women. Like women empowerment wasn't a thing. If you were lucky, if you could nurse or a school teacher or a secretary. That was about the extent of your a woman, and you were expected
Right.
to be, you know.
Right, exactly. Which is what brings us to today, like a movement of women making decisions for themselves, seeking maybe an empowerment coach like myself or a fitness coach like you to help uplift them to where they desire to be, wherever their dream is.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm happy to
Mm-hmm.
be a part of this era where we can have these discussions and push the envelope a little bit more so that we do feel empowered.
Absolutely, because at the end of the day, I think sometimes even women empowerment, when people hear that, the wrong idea. And I know I've gotten some pushback because really what has shifted the most in my life, yes, I've lost 87 pounds and I'm a health coach and life is very different, but it all began when I started making me the priority in my life. That
Mm.
really was the number one, that was the first step that had to be made. And some people have seen that as a selfish move. Oh, you make yourself the priority before your children or, your spouse or whatever your situation is. And so what I try to help explain, yes, absolutely, I do, because it's just like on an airplane. You put the oxygen mask on you first. You can put it on those around you. And that's exactly what it is for me. As I've made myself the priority in my life,
Yeah.
I now show up as a better version of me, and I have more to offer those around me. And so it's not selfish, it's actually selfless to do
Mm-hmm.
this. And women empowerment, that's what that's about, is take back your power, reclaim your voice so that you can better take care of those around you and have impact in the communities where you reside. And men are a part of that as well. I've had some really wonderful men who, my business partner, Tom Leggett, he's a inspiration coach. He's been driving forward behind me personally and professionally. So I'm not down with the men. I love men.
That's funny. That's perfect. I mean, I love all the topics that you brought in. We could sit and talk about this for like hours, couldn't we?
For sure. For sure. Yes. To one
For
day. We
sure.
need to get together and talk.
Yes, we do for sure. Yeah. So I am so happy that you came on and shared your thoughts about what limitless thinking is and what it means to you, and sharing the stories that you shared about family and just life. And so thank you so much for joining me.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me. It's been an honor, and I love what you're doing. I'm excited that you're a voice in this arena and that you're inspiring women. So well done.
Thank you so much. And if you know anyone actually that would like to come on and join in on the series, the more voices we have in this series, I think that the stronger it will be for the women watching. And that's really the goal, is to touch the hearts of as many women as possible so that they can feel empowered to go after their dreams and goals.
Yes, I have a fantastic friend. She's a John Maxwell leadership coach, and
Wonderful.
she is an excellent example. So I'll connect you with her.
Wonderful, wonderful. So thanks for joining me, and have a wonderful Mother's Day weekend week. All right, talk to you soon, Amiee. Bye.
Bye bye.